As we welcome these new inhabitants to our cities, we are thankful to the Advent Administration for their continued compassion.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Tamtu for Zoomin TV Games. I'm here at XCOM, one of my most favorite games. How has the reception been so far?
So far it's been pretty good. We're pretty excited to finally show everybody what we've been working on.
All right, so the new game is going to be PC only for now. How has that been technology-wise to make the game even bigger and better?
So PC only is kind of fun. We really wanted to do a lot of procedural work in the game. We wanted to make procedural levels. We wanted to embrace modding. Those were probably the two core pillars that we wanted to hit when we started XCOM 2. And so it was pretty easy to kind of start to land in the PC only realm there. It's a proven market for that, and a lot of stuff we wanted to do. You know, if you have a really hot machine, you're going to see the game at a pretty nicely. Yeah. So that's kind of how we came down on that.
Yeah. So I just got out of the presentation as well. It was very cinematic, even more than the first one. What did you do to enhance that feeling compared to the first one?
So we've done a lot of work on trying to smooth out the cameras and put in some metrics that were a little more seamless and a little less interrupted. You know, you drop into a shot cam, and before you get the payoff of it, that's the same camera system whereas before they were different. So it's a way smoother system, and it works a lot better. We've got a lot of cinematic moments like we always do. It's super important in XCOM. It's part of our DNA. So you will certainly get pod reveals and death cams and shot cams and all sorts of the stuff that we had in EU. And again, we're always looking for other places where we can put it in, like the hack camera and carry body and all sorts of things where we were able to pull that off. So yeah.
So what I really liked during the presentation was when the team actually finished an objective, you got a little cinematic to kind of reward you for like, hey, you did it. All right, now let's move on to it. It broke the tension really well. Yeah. So that was really nice to see. Now in XCOM 2, the tables are kind of turned. So how did the shift of dynamics change the gameplay for you?
So it's kind of cool that the roles have reversed. In XCOM 1, you were defending Earth from the aliens invading. Now with XCOM 2, with the storyline the way it is, you never got past conventional weapons. So you lost the war, the aliens have taken over, they've built these beautiful mega cities that are drawing people to them, and they're trying to show how benevolent they are and how great they are. And you're now reforming XCOM, you're going to fight the fight, you're freedom fighters. And it's kind of funny because it actually works really well toward the guerrilla aspect of it, works really well toward XCOM. You start with little resources, you're recruiting soldiers, you're building, and it actually, in some ways, it actually makes a whole lot more sense for the game. But yeah, it's kind of neat to have the tables turned, and it's, you are now the guy on the offensive as opposed to a little bit more of a defensive role.
So yeah, like at first we were really in a defensive. With all the new units, how much does it allow you to come up with a strategy on how to take on certain missions? Do you know what kind of parameters you have in the mission at first, so you can make a selection? Yeah,
you'll get some idea of what you're doing. You still have mission briefings before you go. But yeah, we've got different mission types. Or in Enemy Unknown, we didn't have things like sabotage like you saw in the demo. Yeah. And so with 2, you've got that dynamic too, and that changes per mission. And so you've got all these sort of things that change the cadence a little bit, which is really, really nice. It gives a little more depth and a little more, the pacing feels a little different than it did on you.
So the aliens, now there are a lot of new types of aliens. Which ones have been the most fun to work on?
So the Viper is, if you ask my animators, the Viper is by far the coolest. Like that's, the Thin Man on EU was something that all the animators wanted to work on him. The Viper was the one that all the animators just rallied around and just couldn't wait to work on her. She's so different, she's elegant and fast and sleek, and she can pull you out of cover, which is absolutely terrifying. Yeah. And then she can bind you, right? And so you contrast that with say, the Berserker that you guys saw, who's enormous, much bigger than any EU, right? We've got a lot more scale in our characters, and that's a brooding big beast that you don't want to get anywhere near, and it's just a completely different sensibility to the way it feels. So those have been pretty fun to work on. Those are probably the most fun right now.
All right. So you mentioned modding. How big is the potential to create new types of gameplay in XCOM 2 from the users?
So we're fully embracing modding. That was probably the second pillar we wanted to address right after procedural. So I think the procedural nature of the game flows right into that. Like, all of our maps are completely procedural generated right now, but the system is super flexible, so you can actually make it as static as you want, or as modded or as procedural as you want. So the modders are going to have a great time. They're going to be able to do what they want. They'll be able to handcraft missions if they like. They'll be able to make things that are completely procedural, like our game is, whatever they want to do, and you can go anywhere in between. You can have something that's 30% procedural and 70% static, or vice versa. So it's completely up to them. On top of that, even all the stuff that populates in the streets and those sort of connective areas of the maps, that's procedural as well. So, and then on top of it, you've got the mission type. So they should be able to do anything they want, make lots of crazy stuff. Can't wait to see what they come up with.
So can you tell us anything about multiplayer options?
We're really not talking a whole lot about multiplayer, but I can say, we will have multiplayer, and the one thing that you can count on is that those maps will also be procedural. So, yep.
All right, excellent. Can't wait to play it this winter.
Yeah, November 2015.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks guys.
Welcome back, Commander.